Hello, my name is Shadow Templar 591 and I'm doing a what it's video on Papers, Please. For those who don't know what my what is videos are, they're kind of like impression-y, beginner's guides. Actually not, they're more like beginner's guides videos that I do and first takes on a video game. This one is obviously on Papers, Please. As I said before, I go over in these who the game is made by, what kind of game it is, story, gameplay, aesthetics, feel, does this game accomplish a goal, if it does have one, price, and then my final thoughts. So Papers, Please is made by actually one guy. You saw it on when we loaded the game up, and basically it's, I guess, a work game. Like, it's almost a work simulator. The story is you are a border guard in a fictional, I feel like either like old Soviet Republic or Eastern European country. And basically you decide based on what your rules they gave you that the higher ups in the Office of Administration, Ministry of Administration, MOA, give you. Now you can, to a certain extent, decide to either follow those rules or go against them, and they all, doing such things has certain consequences. And then I won't really go over the gameplay because you'll see it right now. So basically you call someone in and they give you information. Now there's certain rules. At the beginning they start off really easy, and then as the game goes on they add more and more things that you have to look out for, you have to watch, so you have to make sure, okay, is this right? Is his name right? Does this look like the guy? Basically it's really just like a real border patrol guy, and then if you think he is, you approve him. He goes through, and then for each guy you send through, you get money, which then at the end of the day you spend on your family, on food, on clothing, on medicine. And then there's another dynamic to this game. Basically, at the end of the day, you can also get little upgrades to your booth. So right now, I have to actually mouse over and click on the little sticker things. See? And it'll let me know, say, okay. So, and the first one, you don't get, the first two mistakes you make, you don't get fined for them. But after that, you get fined for them. So, yep, that looks okay. You are a woman. So back to the upgrades you can get. One of them is for the little stamps. You can, instead of having to go over and mouse, you press tab. So I'm guessing at this point we're just not letting anybody in? Okay. Well, and this actually poses another point. You have to read the newspaper, because they'll tell you the rules. So it seems like we're just not accepting anybody from anywhere. Yep. And see, I didn't read that, so now I've got 2 tickets on my name. And the thing about this game is, every day something different happens, but it's scripted. And I know a lot of games like, I know like the Telltale games get really a lot of flack for being scripted, but this didn't, and I wonder why that is. And I wonder if it's not because this game doesn't set you up with that expectation, while the Telltale games do. They have that little black and white thing that says, hey, you get to affect the story, when in reality you really don't affect it too much. So I wonder if that has a lot to do with it. So it's really, early on it's really easy. Basically you dot, and then this, if you saw that little time in the bottom left, will tell you how much time you have. And then at the end of the day, you have to pay for basically your rent, your food, and your heat. And then you have your family members. You can eventually, medicine becomes a big thing. You have to start, people start getting sick because you start going from fall into the December months, and people are more likely to get sick during then. So basically now, the inspect mode. This is now, so now we get to actually inspect stuff. Before we didn't. Basically, it's if you're a foreigner, you're supposed to get denied. Now we can actually inspect stuff. So expiration date. What do we got? This is good. She's a female, looks like her. So now we just check if that's the right city. And the reason you always want to, and I would suggest anybody, unless you're really good with your short-term memory, to always check the cities, that's because, oh, I denied it, oops. And you will get, you can't just deny people if they should be in. That was my bad. Oopsies. Let's see here. She's good. Because what they'll do is they'll just spell it slightly different, or they'll put the city. So maybe they'll put that last city in with an Antigua passport. Well, Antigua, that's not one of their cities, so it can't be. So they'll do little stuff like that to trick the player, to be like, oh, you memorized something, everything? Nope. Passport. Oh my god, I am just whiffing on this today. Okay. Let's see here. And that's really it, guys. I mean, there's not... Okay. So now we get to inspect. You get to see me inspect something. And then we interrogate him. And then we get to deny him. And then eventually you can decide to, instead of just denying people, you can decide to detain people, and you get extra money for every two. You get 5 coins for every 2 guys that you detain, and then other people say, hey, look, I gotta meet my family members. You know, I'm really sick. I need to get over here because you guys got the best doctors, and you have to decide whether you want to let them through or you want to deny them, whether it's your job or their life. And I think it doesn't hit it. It doesn't really push it in your face. Like, it doesn't ham-fist it at you. It kind of just puts it there subtly, and it really kind of just makes you wonder and think about, so what's more important? Because you don't know. They could be lying. They could be a terrorist. Because there will be terrorist attacks, and you have to decide, is this person telling the truth, or are they a terrorist? Do they have really this family member here, or are they just trying to get in so they can cause some controversy? So, and then this number just tells you how many people you serviced. You get little stuff like that. That tells them weight, and then that's a clock, as you all know, as I already mentioned before. And I'll just do this second day because really from here on in, I don't want to spoil too much for a lot of people, and B, it really just keeps building on from here. So, but you can get the general drift of what you have to do. I think this game, the message is, you have really this kind of almost boring job, this desk job, and how actually, even though it's not really that, and now we have a terrorist attack, so the day will end. When there's a terrorist attack, day ends early, so you don't get as much money, and that factors into that. So this game does a really good job at taking this really mundane job and making it seem really important, because as much as a lot of people like to complain about the bureaucracy in the world, and I am one of them, to a certain extent, it has to happen. You can't just have anybody coming into your countries, and you can't just have anybody going out, and you have to have seasoned professions, people with good skills to, how can I put this, to make sure those forces are getting, those rules are getting implemented. But there is what a lot of people call, and what's called in the political science, agent, I forget what it's called now. I'm gonna call it agent leeway, but it's basically when an agency puts down rules, but the agents in that agency, whether it be governmental, institutional, school related, whatever, any kind of institution, basically they put in a rule and then the agents, those who work for that said institution, kind of have some leeway in as how strict or lenient they want to be with said rule. So it really brings up to that forefront. It brings up really a really great thing about how even the most mundane jobs in the end can be some of the most important jobs. And I think that's not a message that a lot of games do even well. If they do it, they use a hand-fasted, and a lot of them just don't do it well, period. The music is great. I love the art style. It's really nice. It's low res, but I mean, for one guy, I mean, what can you expect, really? So I think it's really great. I guess the only last things I have really are the price. This is about a 5-hour game, which is good because it doesn't overstay its welcome. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's just the right amount when you're like, you know what, that was a nice run. Maybe next time I'm gonna try to do better. And that's great. A lot of games also, I think, like this, try to stretch everything they get out and try to really get your bang for the buck. But sometimes the shorter the better. Sometimes you just need a lot of bang for your buck. And sometimes a lot of quality over quantity is better. And really, on that note, guys, like I said, I think this is a great game. I think if you're like these types of games, or even if you don't, at least give it a try, because I think it's really a great game. I think it really has a lot of great messages in it. I would personally recommend it. And really, on that note, guys, my name has been Shadow Templar 591, and as always, have a great day.